Sabrina and Breanna Stewart actually talking about the loss, what happened, things like that. People are loving what Sabrina said about Caitlin Clark and just showing love.
I'm so happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
In a remarkable turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the WNBA, the New York Liberty, widely regarded as the league's top team and reigning champions, were thoroughly outclassed by the Indiana Fever in a 102-88 victory that has basketball.
The word undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark.
Fans reeling. The Liberty, who came into the game undefeated and riding high on the wave of their championship title.
She steps into that court, and in the first quarter, she made 3 threes in 38 seconds.
Were expected to dominate a Fever squad that had been without its superstar Caitlin Clark for 5 games. On paper, it seemed like a straightforward win for the Liberty.
Like, we go on runs, they do as well. They're a great team. So I don't think it's defeating. I think obviously we know what a great shooter she is, and I think we just gave her too many easy ones. Obviously, she has great range, and her ability to get her shot off is really impressive, especially with missing some games. And so obviously on a personal level, I'm really happy to see her back out on the court, healthy, feeling good, because obviously it's important for them.
However, the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto the court, the game completely changed. Clark, who had been sidelined for some time due to an injury, made an immediate impact, scoring 32 points and recording 7 assists, leading her team to a commanding victory. She was on fire, hitting 3 logo threes in just 38 seconds in the first quarter, a series of shots that not only stunned the Liberty, but also set the tone for the rest of the game. As the game progressed, it became clear that the Fever were not just competing. They were dismantling the Liberty in every phase of the game. Despite the crushing loss, what really stood out wasn't the scoreline, but the response from Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart, 2 of the brightest stars in the league. Instead of deflecting blame, making excuses, or hiding behind cliches, both players took a mature and honest approach in their post-game interviews. They didn't shy away from admitting that Caitlin Clark's performance was on another level. Rather than trying to downplay her impact, Sabrina and Stewie acknowledged Clark's undeniable greatness, giving her the full credit she deserved for the win. This kind of honesty in defeat, particularly when it comes from players of their caliber, is incredibly rare and speaks to the profound respect they have for Clark's abilities. Sabrina Ionescu, known for her own shooting prowess, didn't hesitate to praise Clark's extraordinary range. In fact, Sabrina called Clark undeniable, a sentiment that perfectly encapsulated the way Clark had taken control of the game. Sabrina, a player who herself can light up the scoreboard with deep 3-pointers, admitted that even someone of her skill level knew that Clark's shooting was a problem for any defense. Clark's ability to get open looks, even when defenders thought they had closed the gap, was simply unmatched. Sabrina went on to express that her team had given Clark too many easy opportunities, acknowledging that the Liberty had been caught off guard by her deadly shooting. This was a rare moment of vulnerability from a player who is known for her precision and focus on the court. But Sabrina's praise for Clark didn't stop at her shooting ability. Sabrina also took the opportunity to show genuine support for Clark's return from injury, saying she was happy to see her back on the court, not just for the Fever, but for Clark herself. This comment, rooted in a sense of genuine sportsmanship, went beyond the typical post-game platitudes. Sabrina's words were those of a true competitor acknowledging another player's excellence, rather than just offering empty compliments. Breanna Stewart, the 2-time MVP and one of the best players in the league, also delivered an unflinching assessment of the game. Stewie could have easily made excuses, pointing to bad officiating, injuries, or other factors, but instead, she fully admitted that the Liberty had been outplayed by a better team. The Fever's game plan was executed to perfection, and with Clark leading the way, they overwhelmed the Liberty in a way that no one had expected. Stewart even mentioned that she had smiled when Clark hit a logo 3 right in her face, not out of frustration, but out of recognition. In that moment, Stewart realized she wasn't just facing a hot shooter. She was witnessing greatness. Stewart's reaction was a moment of pure respect, acknowledging that Clark's performance was beyond what most players could ever dream of achieving on the court. What made Caitlin Clark's performance so extraordinary wasn't just the sheer volume of points she scored. It was the way she dictated the entire flow of the game. Every shot she took felt calculated, every pass she made seemed to find its mark, and every decision she made seemed to shift the game in the Fever's favor. Sabrina and Stewart both recognized that Clark's ability to get her shot off from anywhere on the floor, whether it was a deep three, a pull-up jumper, or a clutch pass, was a game changer. Her range stretched the Liberty's defense to its breaking point, forcing them to adjust and scramble in ways they had never anticipated. But it wasn't just Clark's scoring that made the difference. It was her ability to elevate the play of everyone around her. As the game progressed, it became clear that Clark's presence had made the Fever not just a better team, but a more cohesive and dangerous unit. Sabrina, who is known for her sharp shooting, couldn't help but marvel at the way Clark had turned the game into something that was about more than just one player putting up points. Clark's shooting ability drew defenders toward her, which allowed her teammates to get open shots and capitalize on the opportunities Clark created. Sabrina wasn't just admiring Clark's scoring ability, she was recognizing the full extent of Clark's impact on her team. Breanna Stewart also acknowledged the Fever's ability to execute their game plan without hesitation. While many would expect a champion like Stewart to make excuses for her team's struggles, she instead took full responsibility for the loss and gave credit where credit was due. The Liberty were simply outmatched, and the Fever played the game with more precision and purpose. Even in the face of such a heavy loss, Stewart didn't look to deflect blame. She recognized that Clark's brilliance had rendered their defensive strategies ineffective. The Liberty were unable to contain Clark, and their defense was frequently torn apart by her deep shooting and playmaking. Stewart admitted that the Liberty had failed to stop Clark, and even when they adjusted their defense, it wasn't enough to slow down the Fever's momentum. This was a team that had been thoroughly outplayed by a player who had simply changed the course of the game. Sabrina and Stewie's reflections weren't just about a loss. They were about acknowledging the profound impact Caitlin Clark had on the game. Clark didn't just score. She completely altered the rhythm and flow of the game, shifting the pace in a way that left the Liberty trying to catch up. Breanna Stewart's admission about the Liberty's struggles with Clark's pace and poise highlighted just how much Clark had disrupted their game plan. The Liberty, who are known for their ability to control the tempo and play their own style of basketball, were forced to react to Clark's speed and precision. Clark's ability to change the pace of the game and create chaos for the Liberties. Defense was a testament to her status as a game-changing player. Even though the Fever had been written off by many earlier in the season, their performance with Clark back in the lineup sent a clear message. They were no longer underdogs, and they were a team to be reckoned with. The win against the Liberty wasn't just about a single victory, it was a statement. Caitlin Clark's presence on the floor had transformed the Fever into a powerhouse, and the Liberty, despite their championship pedigree, had been completely outclassed. Sabrina and Stewie recognized this shift in the league's power dynamic, as they openly admitted that the landscape had changed. The Liberty, for all their success, had been humbled by a team that had been struggling without its star player. With Clark back in action, the Fever were no longer a team to be taken lightly. They were a legitimate championship contender. And while the loss stung for the Liberty, it was clear from Sabrina and Breanna's reflections that they understood the gravity of the moment. This wasn't just another loss. This was a reality check. The Liberty, the so-called top dogs of the league, had just been outplayed by a team with a fully healthy Caitlin Clark. And the message was clear. The league is no longer just about the Liberty. Caitlin Clark has arrived, and she is here to stay. The shift in the WNBA landscape has begun, and the Liberty, despite all their greatness, now know that they have serious competition in the Indiana Fever.